So happy to see you again. As senior said, today we are going to learn about psychosocial issues. This is one of the major part in palliative care. From the beginning, itself, from the definition itself, we learn a lot of psychosocial issues. We need to look into the four aspects. That is not only the physical aspects, that psychosocial, spiritual, and aspects also. So today, our faculty is joined, Mr. Sarath, who is a social officer working as a social engagement department. So now he is in charge of our pediatric palliative care department. He is assessing the psychosocial issues among the pediatric group and their family members and all. And now he's having 2 years of experience. His main areas of interest are community-based home care and pediatric palliative care. Also, Sharad, welcome and over to you.
Before going, I just wanted to confirm that no one else from the hub side, like the participants cannot record the video, record the session. Some of the sisters are requesting for video recording. It can be allowed. So please consider it from your end. We will be sharing the video links with you as soon as possible. Thank you. Sharif, please.
Thank you, Sonia. And thank you, Shiva, for the introduction. So today's session is about psychosocial aspects in palliative care. So we'll be going through that. Before that, I hope everyone is fine and doing well at their home. Just you get an introduction and everything about palliative care. So we know that some problems are not said by mouth. Okay, some problems can be found by thorough assessment or by seeing them personally or through a communication. Then only we can get into their problems and we can find out what's appropriate for them. So this is an important phase in palliative care, psychosocial aspects. Like the name suggests, psychological and social aspects of a person who's suffering from an illness or the person surrounded by that person or the ill person who's having so much problems regarding that. So we're going to take a look at that deeply through this session. So I want everyone's participation in this. You can talk to me, like you can ask me anything through the chat box or in the discussion time. Whereas if I'm not able to just give the answers, then I'll be just giving you the suggestions what can be done. Or else after this session, we will discuss about it thoroughly. Okay. So moving on to our session. I'll just share my screen. Okay, so is it visible, everyone? Okay, so psychosocial aspects in palliative care. So before going further, this is the definition which is given by World Health Organization about palliative care, and you can go through this. It's a simple one, like palliative care. It is an approach that improves the quality of life of patients and their families facing problems associated with life-threatening illness through the prevention and relief of suffering by means of early identification, impeccable assessment, treatment of pain and other problems, physical, psychosocial, and spiritual. So this is the basic thing you can find in WHO's norms. So this is the definition for palliative care. What is palliative care? So here you can see that the prevention and relief of suffering is mainly focused, and then it is carried out by impeccable assessment. And we are going to consider the physical, psychosocial, and spiritual elements. Okay. So first one will be total pain. So this is a term you have to understand, and we will be going through the whole session. After completing the session, I think you all get more about total pain. So as it suggests, like the physical pain reported by a patient is comported by his or her current life circumstances. Sometimes what happens is the physical pain will not be the only one. The things that are situated or that is surrounded to the patient, problems related to family and his current life, and these could lead to the total pain. So we will get to it in the continuing of the session. Okay. So then the next one will be social diagnosis. An understanding of psychological, biological, social, and environmental factors operating on the person in his situation. So, social diagnosis is to understand the psychological, social, and environmental factors to consider the person in his situation. So, every person is unique and he or she having their own problems. So, we have to assess that according to their situation. So, that is called social diagnosis. Then you can just see here how total pain is connected with the other four parts: physical, psychological, socioeconomic, and spiritual. I just want you to remember this picture in your mind, and we will go through all the facts, like all the realms: physical, psychological, social, and spiritual ones, and we will get to the total pain in the end of the session. So, why is psychosocial care important in palliative care? It's a very interesting question because, as I told you earlier, a person who's living with a life-limiting illness, or the awareness of approaching death, causes unique stresses and challenges. We can just consider ourselves like we are healthy now and we are just doing our own works and everything. Day-to-day life is going very neatly. So, when something occurs to us recently or anything happens um, physically, then it will affect the day-to-day life. So just imagine how this could affect a person who is suffering from life-limiting illness. So these kind of stressors can be find out only with the help of psychosocial care, like a psychosocial assessments. So then only we can provide psychosocial care. So then, a serious illness disturbs individuals' thoughts and feelings, relationships, social and spiritual support, financial stability, and spirituality. So that disease or the awareness of nearing death could cause so much stressors in them. So we can find it, or we can find a solution for it with the help of psychosocial care. So for this, we will start with assessment. Assessment is an important factor because this is the starting of where we can explore every details about the illness and the patient and his surroundings and all. You can see that this is an exploration process of gathering information about the person. It's simple as it is. It starts from the registration procedure. Whenever a patient comes to us, when he gets registered in our a hospital or in any setting, it starts from there. Whatever you collect the data, whatever the data you collected will leads to the problem solving or to the management of pain, to the management of psychological factors, social factors, and all. So assessment is the basic thing, and the selection of goals and interventions depends largely on what is being assessed. Uh, at first time, if you assess that the person is having severe problems financially, then you will set a goal to just eradicate it, or you will just try to focus on that thing. So what is being assessed is important for the further care. So that's why this is a basic thing, and it's an important one. So the aim of an assessment is to identify problem areas which result for illness and may influence the well-being of patients and their families. And the assessment involves collecting information, basically, then identifying and honoring strengths, resources, and needs of the patient. So, through a thoroughly conducted assessment, we can collect more information with the help of more and more sessions, and then we can identify and honor the strengths, resources, and their needs. We can identify it and we can uh, solve the problems. Not fully, I won't say we can solve every problems. We can just redirect them. We can redirect them to any other sources. An assessment is an ongoing process, it never ends. And as the psychosocial needs of patient and family or caregivers often change over the course of illness. Because when you consider one patient, if he or she is coming to the hospital and he's been registered, at the very first time he'll be having pain or something, it will be related to his physical problem. Then after two or more sessions, the patient will be opening up. He will be telling about his current family situations, his financial problems, and all. Then we can just go through like this is what happening, and the need of them is going to change, and the problems that what that happen is it's not related to the physical problems. It was related to any other problems that is happening in the family or something. So it's like the problems will change or the needs will change. So we have to assess the patient on a time frame, within a time frame. Like the follow up is needed based on the assessment. We can just consider like if you're just getting one person and we're just doing the assessment part, we have to do it after 1 or 2 weeks according to their priority, like what they need, and we have to look after that. And purposeful observations and purposeful conversations are needed. It's very relevant one in assessment because we don't have to take too much time with them because we are going to take care of so much patients, and a purposeful observation is needed, and there is a need of purposeful conversation because we don't want to tell every details at the very first time. Then this is a case related to our organization. Here you can see two pictures. It's basically a patient's house, which is situated on the top of a hill, and way is, as you can see in the picture, it's a stone paved one, and it's the house is also not good modified, well maintained, and this is the kind of source of informations we can collect. Like the source of information can be given by patient or caregiver, but the collateral sources like friends, relatives, neighbors, etc., and homes. That's what we do in Valley in India. When you visit the person in their home, then only we can know more about them. Like we can just see their environment, we can see their house and everything. Okay, sure. So, with the help of home visits, we could get enough details about the patient. We can just know about more. We can know more about their current situation and how is going there. What is the exact problem? We can find it out with the help of home visits. So the source of information will be given by patient or caregiver, or with the help of friends, relatives, or neighbors, and we can do home visits to do more assessments. Okay, so we'll be going with patient overview. I don't want you to take it very seriously because this is a small case, and I'll be just describing it. Just keep it in your mind, and you can just consider this, and for the whole session, you can just relate it with it. Okay. So the person is a 7-year-old male who was diagnosed with cerebral palsy, hypothyroidism, and seizure disorder. No occupation. Then medical history is several, as I said, is CP. Then since birth, the patient is suffering from illness. During birth, cord around neck, anterior fontina depressed, breath asphyxia, hypoxemic encephalopathy, developed multiple episodes of seizure. Then early interventions took place and somehow physiotherapy helps him to have slight changes as reported by the informant. Then completely bed bound, low food intake, like it takes 2 to 3 hours to feed, weighs only 6.5 kg, currently on treatment from SAT 300. That means it's a children specialty hospital. Um, it's in Trivandrum. So this is a medical history, okay, and this is the story of them. You can just go through it simply. So I'll just read it, okay. So Mr. K has a stressful relationship with his siblings except Miss E, younger sister. Due to that, he had to build a house in the ancestral property by taking a loan. Even though the extended family would inquire about the status of the child, his father managed to get a visa to work in the UAE, but he couldn't continue his job as his wife developed psychosocial disturbances as a result of his absence, as well as dealing with the illness of the child by herself alone. As reported by the informant, she talks to herself, hears strange voices, poor sleeping pattern, sad mood, and is not performing well in household activities, as well as in taking care of other. I think the more I read, it will be difficult for you to just follow. So I want you to just look into the story more. Um, I'll give you just 30 seconds to read it. So if you're not able to read it, I'll just continue. Like elder child in this family is about 12 years of age and he's trying hard to help his mother and taking care of his brother. The middle child is 10 years old. She doesn't know how to take care of the struggles she is going through. Grandparents are getting old age pension and this is the sole income of the family. However, the father is trying to move for a permanent job and he has some hope in future. So this is a basic story of the patient. Okay, then we'll be going to the next one. It's socio-economic background. So they live in a partially completed 2 BHK terrace-free house. Take loan from private bank for building a house, and he hopes to continue his job in Gulf to repay it like the father. Then the primary and sole breadwinner is the father by doing coolie job. Ration card is BPL. It's below poverty line of pink color, and thus he gets right from there. But other goods needs to be purchased from outside. The grandparents are getting old age pension or financial support from anyone near to him. And father was in jail for an year, but he quit his job due to the illness. Then the treatment expenses are highly, especially the medicines. Then education expense of siblings are getting high. So then psychological background. Psychological assessment of the patient was not possible as the case registered through helpline. According to the family, he only opens his mouth and lip movement to show that he is hungry. So this was the thing that we have done at the first part. So when you connect all these things, when you collect all the things, you will get into this one. It's like when you come into a point of total pain, you have to consider all these things. When you're going through the story, it's like starting from the physical aspects, then the psychological, third one will be the social economic, and fourth one will be the spiritual one. So the first one is physical aspect. Movement issues, completely bedridden, ADL impact, cognitive impairment, life-threatening disease, multi-organ dysfunction, etc. So this is comes under the physical problem. When you come across the second one, psychological factors, behavioral issues are there for the kid, irritability and crying spells, deprived mother's psychological well-being. So these are the things that comes under psychological problems. Then when you consider about socioeconomic factors, is having severe problems in the house, like starting from separated from other family members, neglected parenting, acceptance of the society is low. Acceptance of the society is low. Financial crisis like unemployment, loan, education, treatment, etc., and other ill members in the family. Then we come into the spiritual factors, declined faith in life, no support from religion, future hope, the hope about the future. So it's not there. So these are the things when you come across this case only. Why I just introduced this story is you have to just think about like when you consider one person or a patient, the total pain can be consumed with the help of these four aspects. It's not only related to physical aspect, the psychological, socioeconomic, and spiritual parts could affect them, and it leads to pain also. Okay. So, does anyone have any doubts? Then you can just put it in the chat box. We'll just discuss about it. Okay. So the next one will be it's about the plan. So do home visit to explore more about the psychosocial realms, to provide education support for other children, to facilitate disability pension for the patient, to check with PHC to avail diaper and medication support for the family. So this will be the plan, but it will only be considered after the psychosocial assessments only. So we are just getting into it. Okay. Can I just unshare my screen?
Sure.
Happened, senior.
Just a technical issue with Sharath's laptop, ma'am. We are
Okay.
resolving it. 1 second.
Okay. So we were talking about and we were discussing about cases, and I know you get a better idea about a total pay. So how we can achieve it? So firstly, I have talked to you about the assessment, and it's like exploration process to gather the information, then what is being assessed, then the strengths, resources, and needs. Then we just go through purposeful observations and purposeful conversations, and then come a vast area where we have to look into. It is called patient overview and all. Yeah, so starting from here. So first one will be in an assessment we have to start with patient overview. Then we have to go to insight, family overview, socio-economic overview, psychological overview, spiritual overview, then interventions and so this is the basic thing uh, from which we can get the proper assessment. Then only we can go to total pain, then we can assess the physical realm, then psychological realm, then socio-economic realm, and the spiritual realm. So for that, the basic thing will be these seven things. Okay, patient overview will be the first. Then we can go to insight. Then we can go to the family overview. Then socio-economic overview. Then psychological one. Nextly, the spiritual one, and lastly, interventions and plan. Okay, so starting with one by one, first one will be the patient overview. It's the basic one. The name, age, gender, diagnosis will be checked. Diagnosis will be assessed. So we have to gather that information at first. Then the second one, insight. Uh, it is where we get to know about what is their knowledge about the illness, right? So first one will be the awareness on illness is there for the patient or the caregiver. Then we have to assess about what are their knowledge about palliative care. Does they know about palliative care or not? In some cases, what happens is everyone knows that palliative care is something, but they don't have the exact knowledge. When you ask someone what is palliative care, they will say like it is related with end of life care, and if the patient is just admitted in palliative care, it's like the end of life. So we have to just tell them and we have to just inform them. We have to just educate them that it's not palliative care. Palliative care means whenever a diagnosis starts, means whenever the illness starts or it gets diagnosed, the palliative care starts from there. So we have to just know about what are their insight about palliative care. Then we have to explain if needed. We have to explain it, but only if needed. So that is the second one, patient overview and then insight. Then we have to move on to the third one, family overview. So in this, we can know about who is the primary caregiver, what is the support system, structure of family, nature of relationships, and genogram. So we'll come to genogram. Before that, in this case, when you just consider this case, the primary caregiver is a father who's a foodie and who wish to go to abroad for work. So he is the primary caregiver. And what is the support system? In this case, there is no special support systems for them, and they're just dealing their own things by their own. Then the structure of the family. Who is the one who is taking care of everything? Who is the one who is taking decisions and all? This can be just added in the family overview. Then the nature of relationship, if there is any conflict or relationship, if there is any problem happening in the relationship, so that things can be assessed with the help of family overview. Then we will get into genogram. So genogram is a pictorial representation of the family dynamics. So we will just get into this. Then the next one is socio-economic overview. Socio-economic overview means their financial stability and their social engagement. That is what meant by socio-economic overview. In this, we come across who is the breadwinner and who are the breadwinners, then what are their other source of income, if they're getting any pension or not, we can assess that. Then the community support, how are they getting any support from the community? If any palliative care, government palliative care is helping them, if any other organization is helping them, that we can get to know with the help of this. Then if they are if they know about government schemes or they get any benefits from government schemes. Here, not in here, in India, we have so much government schemes that are not properly utilized. They are underutilized. And there are pension schemes for cancer patients and disabled persons. So these are underutilized, and so we can just get to know about if they know about government schemes or if they are availing it or not. Then what is the ration card? What is the color of it? If they are above the poverty line or below the poverty line, then if they have any debts or other financial vulnerabilities. So these are the things we have to consider when you just go for assessment in the section of socio-economic overview. And then there is a portion like an eco-map will help for a picturization of all the supporting system. So we will get to that on the later session. Okay. So eco-map is something that shows a pictorial representation of the supporting system. Then psychological overview. In this, you can just relate it with this patient also. Like if they're having any grief, depressions, anxiety issues, or something that haunts them, or something that making problems with their day-to-day chores or day-to-day, it is affecting their quality of life or something, then we can just access that with the help of psychological overview. Then spiritual overview. Next one. Simply, what is the meaning of life? What is the purpose of existence? Hope? Why me? No. These are the things that comes under spiritual overview. When you consider one person, if they are just going through a lot of problems, everyone thinks of what am I going to do next? Is there any hope for me? And why God chose me for this? And I don't want anything from anyone. So these are the things that comes under spiritual overview. So we have to access that. I'll get to it in the later sessions. Okay. So there is also a case study. So I'll not discuss it. I'll just go with the genogram. Okay. So here you can see simply, this is a genogram. What you understand here is the circle one is a woman and the square ones are female. And before that, okay, so the pictorial representation just means that Miss A is the patient who is just given a shaded mark in a circle. Okay, so she is the patient here. Okay, then Mr. A is the husband, and Miss A is living alone. That's why she is being circled on the outside of the circle. Okay, and the red lines means that there is a conflictual relationship in the family that just leads to some problems. Okay, she's having problems with her family members like son and daughter, and the whole picture, as you can see, the whole picture, it is the whole family, starting from here, from the very top to the last, it's family dynamics. Okay. So then you just go to, if you have any doubt, just ask me. Uh, yeah. So then next one will be what are the important areas to be assessed from the point of view of total pay. We will just get back to it. Before that, I want to just ensure what is genogram and ecomap. Okay. So as simply saying, this is a person who is expired or deceased or death of a person is denoted by a marked line, like a cross line. Okay, then the circled patient, uh, her family is drawn near to her current family, and no one is giving any support to her. So when you consider this, the conflictual relationship that was marked with the red lines is affecting her illness and it is affecting her psychologically. Okay. So I'll just go with another slide. So let me just reshare one more time. Okay, so we'll be going with the introduction of genogram with the help of basics. So these are the basic symbols. First one is the male, which is represented by a square, and female is represented by a circle. Then these are the relationships which is carried out. Like first one is a line which just connects the male and female. It's represented like married. Then the separation is denoted by a cross line. Then if they are legally separated or divorced, it will be denoted by two cross lines in that one. And these are the symbols related with children and birth. So when you consider that two persons, if they are getting married, then the children will be like square one will be biological child, the one with dotted blue lines will be adopted child. The one with green dotted line means foster child. And if they are waiting for a kid, and then means pregnancy, it's denoted by a triangle. If there is a miscarriage, we can draw a triangle and we can just put a into mark there. And if there is an abortion, like a forced abortion is there, then we can just mark it with cross lines and a straight line. Then if the male stillbirth is there, then we can just do it with square and closing it. Then if there is a female stillbirth, then we can also do it with a circle and crossed line. So these are the symbols related with children and birth. Then if there are twins and triplets, it means you can see here, if there are fraternal twins, it's been related like denoted by two lines, and it will start from the same point. Okay, if they are identical, then we can connect both of them. And if there is a triplet, you can just start from one point and you can draw three lines. And if there is a triplet with a female stillbirth, you can just consider the previous slide and you can draw it properly. Then this is the one I was talking about. I'm just sorry for just not giving the proper introduction to that. So here you can see if there is a plain or normal relationship is going in the family, then you can just draw a straight line, a black one. It's enough. So it means it's not very like there is no problems at all. It's going very normally. No problems are there. Okay. Then there is a line comes like dotted green lines. Two green, dotted green lines means there is a friendship or closeness in the family or with the person you are just denoting. And then we can go to the intimacy one. Means if the persons are very intimate and very close to each other, you can draw it with the help of two bold green lines. It means the relationship is very strong and there is a good communication and it's very open communication. And then comes the next one that we have seen in that genogram. It's a hostile or conflictual relationship. It means there will be a hostile relationship between two individuals. The individuals will be having some conflicts or arguments or having some major issues in the family. And then comes the zigzag lines, and it's very closely packed, and it will be denoted with a red color. It means there is a violent relationship between two individuals. The two individuals have conflicts which result in extreme action, such as physical force or excessive power. So these are the emotional relationships, and go to yeah, and this is the extension of it. If there is an emotional abuse that happened in family, then it will be denoted by blue lines, means blue zigzag lines. It will be also closely packed one. That means one individual is, if the individual is emotionally abusing another individual, then we can just draw it. And any attitude or behavior which interferes with mental health or social development can be denoted with the help of this. And it also includes like yelling, screaming, name calling, and shaming, negative comparisons to others, etc. So then comes the sexual abuse one. In some cases, we are not able to just draw it on the first session because every problems will not be like every details cannot be collected at the very first time. So we need more sessions, or we need to make more rapport with them. Okay, we need to make more rapport with them. So then only we can just get into that this part. So what we do is first we will just draw a basic genogram. Then we will add to it, or we will just update it in the next session. So then comes the sexual abuse one. It's zigzag lines, blue ones, yes, but it's a two lines. There will be two lines. It will be closely packed. It means sexually abusing a person without their intent, then or any sexual act between an adult and child, or forced sexual action between two adults. And next one will be the neglect or abuse. It means that the failure to provide for a child's physical needs, this includes the lack of supervision, inappropriate housing or shelter, inadequate provision of food, inappropriate clothing, etc., can be comes under neglect or abuse. From this, this was I talking about in the earlier picture. Here you can see Miss A, Mrs. A is there, and she is the patient here, and that's why she is denoted with shaded lines within a circle. Okay, so here you can see there is a line comes towards Miss B and Mr. C. That means they have a conflictual relationship with them, and actually it was a previous picture. That's why it's just been straight dotted lines only. And if they are having more issues with them, then we will be writing it as zigzag lines only. Okay, so that is the updated one. Zigzag lines are the updated ones. Then when you consider this patient, the patient is living alone and she's not getting enough support from any of the family members. Okay. Okay. Then we were talking about ecomap. So ecomap is something when I during session I have told you about. It is a pictorial representation. It helps to visualize social and personal relationships of individuals with the environment and with the larger society. It's been depicted by Anne Hartman, and we can simply say that it is a snapshot view of important interactions of people, family with other systems, groups, extended family, individuals, organizations, associations, etc. So we, with the help of an eco map, we can get a snapshot view, like what are the supporting system, or from where they get more help, or what are the current status financially and economically and socially. We can just get it with the help of an eco map. So this is the eco map. Simply, you can see the family unit on the center. We can just rub that, like we can just put the patient's name in there, and with the help of those circles around, like the ovals around it, means what are the supporting systems they are getting. Like it starts from neighbors, workplace, government services, community services, religious institution, friends clubs, schools, volunteers, or health. So what happens is the family or the patient is situated by surrounded by so much persons or so much organization and everything, but they will not get enough support when they are in actual need. So here you can see these are the things that is surrounded to one patient. Okay. Then like you'll get the first help from the neighbors, or from the workplace, or from religious institutions, or with the help of friends, everything. But we can just denote it with the help of just mentioning them with the help of a line, like if they are getting enough support from them or not. This is just for an example, like these are the things that is related. It's not the case with the current patient. Here you can see in this case, in our case, Mrs. A's case, you can see here she's getting help or support from public health center and church and palliative care unit, and that's what we do here. And from panchayat, she's not getting enough support. You can see with the help of that arrow, she's getting enough support towards her. And from panchayat, there is help needed, but it's still not happening. And in case of neighbors, there is a dotted line. That means it's not good enough. Okay. Then next one, we'll be just going through the next one. Do you have any doubts about ecomap and genogram? If yes, just do just put it in the chat box, or else you can just unmute and ask me, no problem. So we'll be just going through the next slides. So next one is socio-economic overview. So starting with the breadwinner. Of course, a breadwinner is needed. And who's the breadwinner? As I told you earlier, that should be assessed properly. Then adequate food or clothing shelter is available or not. Then what are the other sources of income, community support, government schemes, ration card debts, and other financial vulnerabilities. This we talked earlier. Then psychological overview. I'm just adding two or three points extra. That's why I'm showing you for the second time. So, in psychological overview, the psychological distress faced by the patient and the family. Then comes the emotional support if they are getting anything or if they need anything. So that's what we mentioned in this realm. Then next one is anticipatory grief is there. If they are having a serious illness and they are just feeling like, oh, it's not going to be well, and I'll be like this, and everything will be ended soon. So these kind of things comes in psychological aspects. So anticipatory grief is an important factor, and you have to consider that too. Then coping mechanism. How are they coping with? And sometimes they will just ignore everything. Sometimes they will be like talk with any other person. This will ease the stress of them. So, what are the coping mechanisms they follow, or what are the coping mechanisms that we can suggest? That is part of coping mechanism. Then depression or anxiety. That's as I told you earlier. When you consider one person with severe illness, depression and anxiety comes. So we have to assess it thoroughly. Then spiritual overview means connection, meaning of life, strength and comfort, hope, wine. And there's also no will be there. Then it's a part of discussion. So after getting all these, how will you just go through this? Like as I told you in the first one, total pain is something that is related with physical pain, psychological, social, and spiritual one. So when you consider all these things, what is the psychological factors and what is the socioeconomic factors and what are the spiritual factors that are affecting this patient or this case we just gone through? Or you can just tell me physical aspects, like starting with physical pain, simply fatigue, lack of sleep, difficulty in walking, body image issue will be there for the second case we have discussed. When you consider the psychological and socio-economic and spiritual aspects, these are the things will come center. In psychological factors, isolation. I mean, social isolation will be there, and there is an isolation at home. So that is the first thing will be there because they will get neglected by other members of the family. Then it will make them isolate. Then emotionally they will be very weak because they don't get enough support from the family or with anyone. Then they'll be emotionally outbursting and weak. Then anxiety about future. What happens next? How am I going to cope with this? How my problems are going to get solved? So these kind of anxiety will be there about the future. Then unclear about the prognosis and palliative. Because what happens is, in when I talk to you about insight, there is also a point called prognosis. Um, what happens after this? Or what is the treatment that I'm going to get after this, and what are the treatments there for me. So that are the things a patient should need to understand, or they don't know. So we have to just clear with them if they are willing to hear, or if you get enough exposure with them, or if you get enough rapport with them, we can just open it. If they are able to hear it, then we can tell them we can explain them with the help of a professional. Okay, so that's the first part. Like unclear about her prognosis and palliative care is a psychological problem. Like they don't have enough information, so we have to give it. And then distress due to multiple illnesses. When you consider the first case and the second one, they have several like multiple illness. When you consider the first patient, there were CP, like cerebral palsy were there, hypothyroidism were there. So there are multiple issues were there. So this will lead to psychological issues too. Then coming under socio-economic factors that leads to the pain. First one will be strained relationship with family. So there will be a problem with the second case. I'm talking about the second case in this. There will be a problem with a family. There will be a strained relationship with them. And then she'll be thinking about she's unable to go for a job. This will limit her from doing anything more. Then this will lead to financial instability. Then the problem related with house rent, the low accessibility to hospital, as you've seen in the picture, when I talked to you about the sources of gathering information, there you can see the stone paved path and the house, which is situated in the hilly area. So, so it was not her house. You can assume that simply because the problems related with the house rent and low accessibility to hospital, it is there. Then the absence of caregiver and support system. When you consider the second case, Mrs. A is living alone and she doesn't have a caregiver or she doesn't even get support from anyone, not from the system, not from the family. So the absence of caregiver and support system will lead to the total pain. Then the next one will be the spiritual factors that are affecting her, like extreme spiritual distress. Why all these sufferings are happening to me? Why me, God? So that will be the first question. Then lost faith in God. Um, the person will be like, I haven't done anything wrong to any other persons. Then why it is happening to me? That will be the question that comes for them in their mind. Then the loss of connection with the family, it will lead them to spiritually related problems. So no significant persons in life because he got married, he had the two children and their family, and she also had grandchildren. So I'll just get you through that. Yes. Okay, so here you can see Mrs. A is here. So she's living alone and she has two children, Mr. P and Mrs. D, and they both are married. And Mr. C is having one children who is of 11 years old, and she is not getting enough support or care by any of them. She is living alone, and you can see here. The circle is here. So this is the current family of Mrs. A, and she's not even in good terms with her husband too. So that's what we were talking about in this. Like, uh, like, so no significant person in her life as of now, and then no memorable or joyful events in life. After a certain stage, after the illness came and all, and there will be no memories for her. Like everything will be rejected. Like every person will abandon her, and no one is taking care of her. So there is no memorable or joyful events in life to remember after that illness. So these all things, like whatever comes under these four things, physical, psychological, socio-economic, and spiritual, will lead them to the total pain. So as I told you in the first, total pain is not only related with physical pain, it relates with everything. So I'll just go with a small story as an example. This was being told by one of my mentors here, and during a visit to a home, when a patient was there at the home, when they were visiting the patient was suffering from severe pain. Severe pain means he's unable to talk or anything. He was screaming in pain, and the person, the ma'am, just visited them, and she asked him, uh, "Where is the pain?" They were like, everyone was looking around, and yeah, we can see that he is suffering from pain, and you are asking him like, where is the pain and all. Uh, so they were like standard. They were not listening to it, and they were like, why is the person is asking like that? And the person who was screaming started, I couldn't tell you anything because it's everywhere. The pain is everywhere, and he doesn't wanted to talk. And after some while, the doctor came, and the doctor just sat with him. And after some times, he made a good rapport with him, and he given him some medications and all. Then he started asking like, what is the exact problem? Is it the physical pain or is it anything else? And um, he said, I'm not able to tell you about this because I'm having severe pain. Then the doctor asked him, like, how will you rate your pain from 1 to 10? Can you tell me anything? 1 is the lowest and 10 is the highest one. And the patient was telling, like, I'm having 8 or 9. So the doctor just asked him, sat with him for a long time and asked him, for the last time, and he asked like, "Can you tell me now what is the exact pain right now, and why it is happening? Is there any other reason?" Then the patient opened up, and he said, "It is related to my children because after my death, who will take care of them?" Now only they were asking about something else, and I couldn't offer them, and it makes me more fragile. Like I couldn't do anything more. I don't want to do anything more. So this is what I'm concerned more about. And then the doctor said, "Okay, yeah, let's see." And after 2 days, they went back there. Before that, we offered some help for the kids, and we supported them with education support and all. And after that, after 2 days, we just visited the ma'am and the doctor visited them, and the doctor just go in and just hold his hand and just ask him, "So how is the pain? What is the rating that you will give from 1 to 10?" And he was smiling and he said, "It's just 3, doctor." So then the doctor asked, like, now how are you feeling? "No, I feel very relaxed. Okay. The pain is just getting okay now. But sometimes it gets bigger, but I can just handle it." And all of a sudden, the ma'am just asked the doctor, "So what just happened here? Uh, in previous day, he was telling like it's 8 or 9. Now it's like 2 or 3. So what really happened?" And the doctor said like, um, he is very concerned about his children more, and he was concerned about he was spiritually not connecting with the God. Like what will happen to them? He lost all the hope in God and everything. And he was like, nothing is going to happen for them, nothing, happiness will be coming in their way. So, what we did is, the doctor said that what we did is, we just helped them to ease their financial problems as of now. So, it will take them to good education for the children. We'll just help them for this year, and we'll think about the next year. So the man asked the doctor, like, "Okay, so is it related with the pain that he was suffering from?" The doctor said, "Yes, of course." Because sometimes the physical pain doesn't affect you properly. It will be there, but mental stress or the psychological factors or the socioeconomic or the factors that are related with your family and everyone is come together and become a total pain. So that will affect them more. If we consider them as a person and if we want them to get the dignity, then we have to ease the pain by reducing their problems and all. So that's what the story, an example for total pain. So when you consider that story and just going through this, you just understand total pain is not every time it's not related with the physical one. It is a collective one. So we have to consider all the parts of this, and then after just going through all this, from starting with the assessment, then in the assessment we just going through patient overview, family overview, and the insight and everything. We will come to a plan or an interventions. How can we provide support for the family? So in the intervention space, it's like liaising them to any other sources, but then facilitating something that they really want right now. Then rehabilitation. If you consider a patient who's having problems with stroke or any uh, paraplegic or something, then you'll be like the rehabilitation is an important one. With the help of that, they can just manage their daily chores and they can financially get the benefit of. So rehabilitation is another one which comes under interventions. Then bereavement support. Bereavement support, that's what we do in Italian. It starts from the second week of the death, or the first or the second week of the death. And that means the family will not be totally over from the death of their beloved ones. So what happens is they'll not get through the death. So with the help of bereavement support, we will just call them on a basis of like what is their need. Then we have a small forum like for the bereaved persons families, and we'll conduct small programs for them, and we'll do some rehabilitations for them too with the help of bereavement support. Then follow. It's in the case of the active patients, follow-ups should be done properly because sometimes what happens is the current situation just get worsens over time. So regular follow-ups need to just find out it and to give proper treatment and all. Then supportive counseling. Supportive counseling means if the person or the family is in distress, they need counseling in some rare scenarios. Like if they are not getting enough support from the family, they will be just standing alone, and they will feel that I'm alone in my situation right now. So what we have to do is, as a nurse or in the perspective of other persons, supportive counseling is needed. If you are not able to do that, you can just refer it to any other persons. So that's what comes under intervention. Then the next one will be psychoeducation, because they don't get enough education about the whole thing and the illness and all. So we have to get it. And the last and the first one is providing information. Why I just hold it back till the last is the information that we provide is important factor in everything, because sometimes the negative information or the information that is not true will lead to more problems. So providing proper information is important. And so this is the intervention part. Then the next one will be possible social impacts. When you consider the psychosocial aspects of care, there will be so much impacts in the family that would lead to many problems. So when you talk about the social factors, it comes in there. The possible social impacts. And it's just you can just relate it with your cases and all. Like social isolation will be there, and dependency will be there. Financial instability, the lack of social support, that's loss of work, interpersonal issues, or inadequate facilities will be there. So these are the possible social impacts that comes under the socio-economic uh, side. Okay. Then the possible psychological impacts. Uh, we have talked about it earlier, but I just want to remind you about that. Starting with feelings of shock, uncertainty, hopelessness, then anticipatory grief that we talked about, then poor insight. In some cases, the patient or the caregiver doesn't know what is the exact diagnosis, and they will be telling about if they are having, like the patient is having cancer, then they will only know that there is a small stone or something, or some pain in the abdomen that's only there. So we don't know anything about it. So poor insight is something that could lead to psychological impacts. Then anxiety, what happens next is there. Then suicidal ideation or wanting to hasten death. Suicidal ideation is where they will not know about what is the exact thing that's going to happen after the proper treatment. So they'll be like in a dilemma, like what is next going to happen? How could I overcome it? Or there will be uncertainties there. So this will lead to suicidal ideations or thinking about the family and being a blame, like being like a deadweight on the family. That kind of thoughts could lead to suicidal ideations or suicide. And then wanting to hasten death means how can I reduce the pain, or how can I slow my death, or how I just fasten up my death. So these kind of things could come under psychological impacts. Then poor coping with illness, because they don't know exactly about the illness and all. Then psychosocial and spiritual suffering is real, but can be difficult to recognize and treat. So this can manifest as physical. As I told you earlier, the psychosocial and spiritual suffering is real, but oftenly it will refer to as the physical pain. So I don't want you everyone to mix it up with the physical pain. It is a collective one, the total pain. Okay. So then, when you consider about the vulnerable population, this is out of the program, like out of the topic thing. It's called vulnerable populations. So why this is here? Because when you consider the community, there are a lot of people there and who's having so much problems who comes under vulnerable populations. So how we can just identify them and how we can just get them into the cycle, like to palliative care is here. So starting with the person who is living alone, the elderly without support, single parent, multiple patients in family, victims of gender issue like domestic violence, physical, verbal, psychological, or sexual harassment. Then individuals with mental health issues, if they're being socially isolated, then substance users in the family, and then individuals with suicidal ideations, as I told you earlier, and individuals in extreme poverty. That means lack of food, water, and shelter. These all comes under vulnerable populations. So these are the persons, or these are the categories which come under vulnerable populations. And then the next one, after the assessment on hold, we'll come into a point where caregiver. So this is a quote depicted by Rosalind Carter. Right? There are only four kinds of people in the world: those who have been caregivers, those who are currently caregivers, those who will be caregivers, and those who will need a caregiver. Uh, it's a very simple one, but it's very meaningful one. Like every person needs a caregiver, or every person will be a caregiver, or every person sometimes they have to work as a caregiver too. So we don't have to just dehumanize them by calling this standard. We have to call them caregiver because they are giving the care. We have to respect those individuals and acknowledge them with their complex role. What are they going through and how they are treating and all. Caregiver plays an important role in palliative care because when you consider the palliative care too, we can teach the persons with the illness or the caregiver. But the person who takes care of them, the caregiver is the one who is responsible or who is the one there to do such things, what we have educated. So we have to respect that too. So this is a question we'll come across or we have to think about very importantly. What do I need to know about you to help you better? So what are the things that I need to know about you to help you better? So this is an important one because first we will be very judgmental towards every person, every like we have seen so much patients coming from to the palliative care with having same or similar illnesses. Then we will be like judgmental sometimes. So before that, just think of this: what do I need to know about you to help you? Like asking them will helpful for us to get a proper plan, to get a proper assessment, and getting with a proper rapport making with them to do and serve them better. And this is a picture I wanted to show everyone. This was happened here, and the picture was taken with the consent of patient and caregiver. So I'm just mentioning it. So it's like it happened few years ago, and this was an incident where you can see the patient is lying down on the bed, and this is the caregiver, the wife, and he wanted to celebrate the wedding anniversary, but he had that dream, but he didn't tell anyone. But during a conversation with the doctor and the nurse and the social worker, they came to know about his wish, and they made it as a surprise for them. And you can see the smiling face there because sometimes the care what they need is not with the help of medicines or anything. Sometimes they need is the fulfilling of some dreams or some joy or some happiness that they need in life is very simple ones like this one. And he celebrated the wedding anniversary here, and he just left to his home after 2 or 3 days from that inpatient ward. So this is the research or this is the intervention of the proper assessment that we have done in here. And so I think you get a better picture, better idea with this picture. So then vocational rehabilitation. Okay. So vocational rehabilitation. So we have just gone through so much factors like starting from the patient overview, social economic overview and everything. And we have come to interventions. And in interventions and care of plan, we will be dealing with the vocational rehabilitation. This is where when I said in the previous slide, when we mobilize something from the community itself, here comes this vocational rehabilitation. This is used to stabilize the family's income with the help of giving them proper education about making something out of nothing. Is called this, and this is ensured to encourage the family to become self-dependent on themselves. Then the financial security of the family is very much considered than to engage the family to do more. And you can see this picture with the help of occupational rehabilitation. You can see here. First one will be the goat rearing, and the second one is making of candles, and the third one you can see a sewing machine was given. The fourth one you can see a person is making umbrellas. So these were things where educated to them with the help of vocational rehabilitation, and this is the end product. Like from starting from total pain, we can ease. Like first starting with physical pain, then for physical pain we can give them medicines, any medications from outside, anything related to that. When you consider the other three elements, not the three ones, the two ones, like socioeconomic and the psychological ones, this will lead them to like social isolation problems, and it will ease the burdens on their family members, and they will think about like we can just go further with the help of this. We can just make something out of it, and this will ease the financial problems too. So this is the end product of a proper assessment and proper vocational rehabilitation plan. Okay. So then next comes social support. So this is basically a simple thing which we does here. Okay, so I just wanted to introduce this with you. Like, to support to the patients and the family members during treatment and after bereavement is an essential part of palliative care activities. It includes like, like as I told you earlier, there will be a bereavement program, and during the treatment also we will support them socially, and it starts with education support, food kit, vocational rehabilitation, travel aid, physical aids. So these are the five things we support them socially from the side of Pallium India. And simply saying, education support means the kids will be in a position where they don't get enough financial support for for their education. So we just support them for the education and food kit. If they're not getting enough food or anything, they don't get any local support for that, then we will provide them with food kit. Then vocational rehabilitation is there, as I told you earlier, to improve their financial stability and isolations. Then family, if they're not able to get in with the expense of travels to the hospital or for consultation or anything, we will just provide it according to their socioeconomic background. Then physical aids, if the patient is in a certain need of some physical aid that would help them to improve their quality of life, then it should be provided. And the next one is in part of the kids, it's education or emotional support for them. So this is a program, a small program that was conducted in our office. It was 2 to 3 years or 4 years earlier. So it is to support the children, because when someone gets sick in your family, it will definitely leads to problems with children too. They'll get emotionally stuck with the problems, and they need some kind of support for that. So that's what we provided. And then coming into the last phases, it's like, do remember these things, like evaluate our intervention that we have done, and it with the help of making assessments, like revisiting and redoing the assessments. Then assess how the patients and families are benefited. If they are getting enough support and everything, then only we can do further. Then assessments have to be revised and updated, because as I told you in the first session, like first part, everything like the need of yesterday will not be there tomorrow. Like yesterday they will be needing something else, and tomorrow their need will be something else. So we have to revise it and update, then reach out for help if needed. because we are not the person who can support or help with everything. We need support too. So if you're not able to do something for them, just reach out for help if needed. Okay. Then there is an art and science in psychosocial care, just as in medicine. When you consider medicine, it's totally there, but it is also important that psychosocial care is also an art and science which needed to be practiced properly. As you can see, like it is a collaboration or it is the bound of everything, like physical, psychological, socioeconomic, and spiritual things that comes to the total pain. That's how when we rely on medicines, we have to rely on other things such as to ease the pressure or ease the stress out of that patient that they have to cope up with. And there is a last line, so I don't want to go with that. It's been written by Mahatma Gandhi. It's like the difference between what you do and what you're capable to do, it's in your hands. If you want to be the change maker, be the change maker. Okay, so I'll just summarize everything with you. Like we just started with what are the psychosocial aspects of care. So in psychosocial aspect of care, there comes it starts with the basic assessment. That gathering of information will be started at first, and it goes on like their problems, like the family overview, the psychology, like socioeconomic overview, then the insight of illness, and we will go through the psychological aspects of the patients, then the socioeconomic overview, then we will go with the spiritual overview. And after collecting all these things, we will get into the total pain, the main focus point, and after that, we will get to the plans and like what can be done for the next, how can we ease the pain of them, and then we will come into our social support, means vocational rehabilitation, education support, um, um, then travel aids and all. Then with the help of that, we can just ease the pain of them. And after that, we just gone through like how to revise it, how to update it, and how to implement it properly with a sustainable, sustainably. So that was a summary of this session. So I think my session was bit useful for you. If you have any doubts, just unmute and ask me. We have to just clarify, or else you can just put it in the chat box.
Thank you, Sarath, for the wonderful session. I have a small request. Everyone, please switch on your video. We would like to see you all. So anybody have any doubts or any clarification regarding this presentation, please ask him. Anybody? I hope this presentation is clear to everyone. So you might be thinking like we all nurses, why we are looking into the psychosocial aspects. So this is very, very important because If they have a patients comes with, usually the patients comes with the physical problems. If they have a if they have a psychosocial issues, so their physical distress will be increased. Okay, that you have to understand. If they have a psychosocial distress, the nurses are spending most of the time with the patients. So you are the best person to identify if they have a psychosocial issues there. So you have to identify first, and then if you want to look into, because that you have to uh, think about that, if that physical distress will be distressing a patient lot or not. So if they have a psychosocial issues there, you have to give a special attention into that. So that's why we have worked in a team. We have a social officers like Mr. Sarath. So Sarath is the person to look after the psychosocial issues. So we are the persons to identify the psychosocial issues. We will refer the patient to them. They will come and see that patient, and they will evaluate more and explore more problems, and then they will come to a solution with discussing the team. So we will all discuss together and decide what we will give, that what is the plan and management and all. So, so this is the major part in palliative care. So, if you have seen any patient in any where, please look into the other aspects, not only the physical aspects, the psychosocial, spiritual aspects also. If they have issues there, please make an attention into the doctor or a concerned person into the team, and give a good support with the help of other team members. Okay, that way we can improve the quality of life of the patient and their family. Okay, so thank you, Sarath, for the excellent session and detailed session. They all understand well. So thank you all for joining in. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarath, for that wonderful session, and all the others for joining us. Thank you so much. See you on the next session.